in our Season 10 Top 8 Invitational Grand Finals here. Matt Harshman, Lucas Leese battling it out in a best-of-3 action. It is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for our Golgari Rock player, and the main reason about that is the Rock deck thrives on this idea of I can kind of grind through it and my threats kind of pay off later on. The problem is, if you're grinding through and you're disrupting what the Tron player is, he can top deck into some of these cards that just have so much power behind them, right? Top decking into a Karn, top decking into an Ulamog, a World Breaker, even a Wormcoil Engine makes things so hard to kind of work through. So it's going to be tough, but it is doable, right? The way that Matt has built his list, in particular, of running it 2 colors, he has a lot of power to deal with a Tron list in the sense that he's got 4 Field of Ruin main board. He's got a play set of Assassin's Trophy main board. And he's got a play set of Fulminator Mage in his sideboard. He's also got 2 Surgicals in his sideboard. So he's got a lot of way to kind of shut off what Lucas is trying to do Tron-wise. All right, Lucas, though, looks like going to 6. Now, we've talked about his list previously. He's got a lot of ways to kind of grind through it. We've talked about his payoff cards that he's got. Things like Oblivion Stone, going to be beneficial. Things like Relic, going to be beneficial early on, especially when you're trying to rely on things like Scavenging Ooze from buffing up, from being able to eat creatures. Well, if there's no creatures in the graveyard, it's going to be hard to do that. Tarmogoyf's power and toughness are equal to the different card types in the graveyard. If there's no graveyard, that's going to be tough to do. Also, if you're trying to push through and you're staring down a Wormcoil Engine, which is a 6/6 lifelink death touch, if it dies, you just make 2 tokens, one with lifelink, that's a 3/3, one with death touch, it's 3/3. That's a little bit more challenging. You got to kind of pick and choose how you're going to be using your removal spells. And a lot of it's going to be reliant on Matt to kind of get out of the gate early with some disruption and be able to kind of land some control-y Planeswalkers in there, get some threats out, and kind of push damage. His deck is not really built for speed. It's not designed to come out of the gate and just kind of win those first 2, 3, 4 turns. That's one of the reasons why the Tron list has a harder time against Infect, because it can kind of get in there and burst somebody down before they usually get their Tron assembled and get that Karn out. We're going to have to see, though, what Matt is able to make happen. So, looks like we're getting things going. Both players are feeling like they're ready. And again, the way it's set up is the player with a higher seed does get to go first. So, Lucas goes first, which, the way it's setting up, hey, here's 2 Tron lands already, is boding well for potential turn 3 Karn. Matt's going to fall to 19, and he's going to hope to try to kind of fall into some Inquisitions here to hope to strip away some potential threat. Now again, the Tron player does have a limited number of threats, right? It's got 8 creatures and 6 planeswalkers. So if you're able to start stripping away those particular cards, okay, this is going to be manageable. But 14 cards to have to kind of strip away when you're only running a certain amount of disruption abilities, it's going to be more challenging. Dark Confidant going value here instead of having the ability to kind of strip away what Lucas is playing. When he knows that, hey, there's a good chance you might not have something initially as a big threat, I might be okay. And this is already kind of giving an indication, hey, that's nice. But ooh, 3 damage off the top of that Dark Confidant already drops Matt down to 16. Now, Matt does run Kalitas main board, so that is the highest cost that he's gotten there with that 4 cost. Hitting a 3 cost already is kind of scary, but, you know, card advantage is really important right now. Aggression comes out. pushes 2 points of damage. Hey, here's a Goyf. He's just a lowly 0-1 now that that one land that was in the graveyard is gone. That's one way to do it. Let's get rid of your field, he says. Ooh, Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Ugin is so powerful. Like, you have to sit here and have an Assassin's Trophy to answer him at this point in time. Here's a Lily. Doesn't really answer. But hey, we can strip away any potential follow-up threats that Lucas might have. So we've got our +2 for Ugin that can be able to deal 3 damage to any target. We've also got the -X, where you can exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less that is 1 or more colors. So you can just be like, alright, let's minus away your Lily. But we see Cycling of the Star. Get some green mana. He does have an Ancient Stirrings, which it looks like he will be using, trying to find some additional threats. And that will help him to decide, based on what he draws and finds, Wormcoil Engine, how he wants to play it. So he's going to go, alright, let's -3, get rid of your Lily. Follow it up with a Wormcoil Engine. There's that lone force hitting the field. So we got a Planeswalker to control things, and we got a powerful creature here. So now it's like needing double removal to kind of help things out here. Alright, another Dark Confidant. And, okay. Tarmogoyf comes out, but again, not that powerful at this point. Uptick, let's kill that Dark Confidant. Get rid of any threats you might have. Another Ancient Stirring is going to get used here. Let's look at our top cards, see if we can find something of value. Star. Let's cycle through that. Draw a card. Another map. Oh, just one map. The other one's a relic down there. 6 points of damage. That's going to drop down to 10. Lucas going to jump up to 24. There are a good amount of spells now, right? Sorceries there. Artifact. Goyf coming in. I don't know if he's at a 4/5 now. There is creature, there's sorcery. If only we had a dice to indicate it. Let's exile a card. He says I'm going to get rid of my artifact here. So maybe he's now a 2 creature and sorcery. Abrupt Decay. Is he targeting map here? Is he targeting the relic? How are we... Which one are we targeting? Either way, it's going to blow up or search, right? So, let's see. Blow it up. Let's draw a card. Well, now he's got 1 power. Three damage. Kill the Goyf. 6 more. Matt drops down to 4. Lucas jumps up to 30. So this is what we were talking about, like the pregame part of this sort of value where you grind and try to make them waste resources. the power that the Tron deck brings to it when they start top deck and they start getting into this, like, hey, I've lost a lot of stuff in my hand. Where am I going from here? Oh, here's a 6/6 lifelink death touch. Oh, here's a spirit dragon that can kind of really mess with somebody. Strip away any of your permanents essentially that you're playing. Makes it really, really challenging. But the way it's set up is we have been going over sideboard tech of the players that win game number 1. So let's talk about Lucas's sideboard again for those that have forgotten. So we've got 1 Emrakul the Promised End, 2 Thought-Knot Seer, 2 Warping Whale, 2 Dismembers, 3 Nature Claim, 3 Thragtusk, 2 Fogs. I like the Dismembers. You know, having some extra removal is nice, especially if you know your opponent is going to be playing Goyfs and other kind of threats to kind of get out there. You know, having the Thragtusk in there is also a nice one to be able to bring in. You can make the argument for Fogs in here as well. Fog just seems like a nice, hey, I'm going to just stay alive for a little bit there. Thought-Knot Seer as well is another good one to kind of bring in as, hey, an early threat that you can get out there. You can kind of strip away cards that your opponent might be trying to hold on to. So I like that sort of, hey, let's get a little bit lower to the ground, sort of heavier package kind of deal. Definitely not Fog. I know Fog is not as beneficial because it's not like a burst down, I'm just going to kill you one turn kind of thing, but I just like Fog as a card. What was that Magic show? That's the Fog. It's the best maneuver you've seen all week, or whatever he said for it. Yeah. All right. So looking over at Matt's cards, his sideboard consists of the Life Goes On, Nissa Vital Force. Now he's got 2 Life Goes On, 1 Nissa Vital Force, 1 Kitchen Finks, 1 Garruk Relentless, 1 Engineered Explosive, 1 Nihil Cell Bomb, 1 Maelstrom Pulse, 4 Fulminator Mage, 1 Duress, 2 Surgicals. So we're going to be seeing the 4 Fulminator Mages coming in. We're going to be seeing the double Surgical Extractions coming in here, because being able to get rid of, whether you're Thought Seizing, whether you're Fulminator, whether you're using your Field of Ruin and stripping away huge chunks of your opponent's deck is a big deal. So that's kind of where his plan is going to be going here. Okay, so Warping Whales and Thragtusk, not really feeling the Thought-Knot Seer. I like it. I like it. Not really opting for the Dismembers either. So Warping Whale is a really nice addition here, because if you're sitting with 1 creature or something like that and they play Lily and try to sack, you can be like, oh, here's a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi creature that you have to deal with. All right, that's pretty scary. Countering sorcery spells. Oh, you're trying to strip away my hand. You're trying to play Maelstrom Pulse. Not going to work out. If you're playing Dark Confidant, things like that, I can be able to exile that. Right, because exile target creature with power or toughness 1 or less. So you do have a lot of targets with that. Okay, so Luke is talking in chat saying that he doesn't like Thought-Knot Seer against a deck that's full of creature removal, because yes, you might take one specific thing, but as soon as it dies, they just get a card back, and it's just like that feels bad moment. All right, we're getting ready for game number 2 here. Again, this is for our top 8 Invitational. Now, if you've ever been considering coming out and playing in this top 8 invitational, there is quite a bit of cash money on the line for these players. Don't want that paper. How much to be exact? So here's how it worked. If you made 5th through 8th place in the invitational, you got $50 store credit. If you got 3rd or 4th place, you got $150 store credit. If you made 2nd place, you get $200 cash. If you make 1st place, you get $300 cash. So a pretty big payout set up for players here, and really good incentive to try to come out and do well at these events. Matt not happy about his, will be shipping it away. Maybe hoping for some more sideboard stuff. Maybe the way things worked out, it was a lot of do-nothing, mediocre 7 cards. Lucas feeling pretty good about his. All right, feels good. Let's scry it up and get things started with our forest. Map coming out here. Ooh, Matt not getting a second land really hurts. Oh, oh. Well, he gets his second land, gets a Goyf out here. But we're starting to see Tron start to get assembled. Map was popped. Power plant will be joining that mine. Ah, okay. Going through, double checking to make sure Warping Whale would exile him because he was a 1/2 at that point. Hissing Quagmire, tapped, passes over. Sylvan Scrying, let's keep going, find some more lands. Tron will be assembled. Alright, let's start finding some other threats here. Going to be Ancient Stirrings. Let's see what we can do. What are we going to find? Based on what's in the hand, looks like a lot of lands. Wormcoil is going to be picked up here. Oblivion Stone as well as a star. And now it's up to Matt to try to kind of deal with this. The thing is, Tron's already assembled, so any permanents, non-land that he's going to be putting out are subject to Oblivion Stone. And even if he's like, alright, here's Lily, uptick kind of thing, it's going to make it really tough. So he's like, alright, let's get rid of one of your Tron pieces, go find a basic, here's an Assassin's Trophy. That cuts you off for a little bit on the assumption that maybe you don't have that missing piece, right? Maybe you don't have another tower in your hand. He didn't. He had another power plant. So now things are looking a little bit better. Yes, there's 5 mana, so he can still blow it up next turn. But this kind of opens the door a little bit if Matt wanted to start to try to assemble something here. So double checks Hissing Quagmire. When he activates it, it becomes a 2/2 Death Touch Dude Man. I mean, that seems to be the theme of Lucas's gameplay is who needs Tron assembled here, right? Why assemble Tron when I could just play all my lands anyway and just value off of it? So let's cycle, draw a card. Draw for turn, and look at that lovely tower. Blow that up, kill that Dark Confidant. Here's a Wormcoil to follow it up, and pass. Players checking. There's a lot in the graveyard right now. Creature, instant, sorcery, land, artifact. 5/6. Oh, of course, there's a relic. Let's kill that Wormcoil, he says. Get your worms. Here's a 3/3 Death Touch. Here's a 3/3 Lifelink. And I get a land. So much mana. So that Goyf isn't long for this world. In the sense that if Matt tried to attack, the relic just gets popped. And it falls down to an 0/1. Treetop Village. Matt's also hurting for a second black source here. So like things like Lily that he'd really want to play, he doesn't have the ability to do that. So much mana. Alright, so we're probably going to be just, hey, well, how are we going to do things? Let's force some fighting here. Alright, blow this up, I'll draw a card. Goy falls down to a 1-2. That's all of my mono green mana producers. He's like, how do I want to do this? Activate this guy. Let's go. Lifelink, Death Touch, blocking. Let's kill this one. They'll trade. Which one's which, Lucas? How do we know? Did you gain 3 life off that or not? That's all I need to know. Oh, there's another one. Oh, again, missing that land drop. He needs a black source here. Lifelink on the land. Alright, so Lucas did gain 3 off that. Death Touch on the Goyf. Lifelink on the land. Oh, here's a card. Let's pop this. Go find another threat. Oh, man. Still had all these, except for in the sense that still had all these useless cards. Matt reveals his hand, and Lucas on Mono Green Tron takes the series 2-0 to become the Season 10 Invitational Champion. Super exciting to see another new player enter into the top 8 for the first time this season and have a royal road, if you will. Very first season playing in the Modern Magic Monday. Very first season playing in the top 8 Invitational. And he was able to become the champion. So first royal roader, if you will. And another champion added to our list of players to be able to get the victory here at Modern Magic Mondays. So really exciting to see. Again, it was kind of that underdog story that we were talking about. A difficult matchup where the Golgari rock deck is designed to kind of beat those grindier creature strategies, and we saw it in action, just kind of how it was able to pick apart Lyle's Spirit deck. But when it was faced with a deck that had the much higher power ceiling in the Tron list, it just couldn't hold up. Game 2 was much harder too, in the sense that Matt was not able to get that second land that he needed with the black source. Right? He's like, well, here's all of my mono green mana producers in my entire list, and then he just kind of whiffed a couple of times in a row of not getting any more land drops, so made it very, very tough for him to kind of be able to battle it out there. But that is the end of Season 10. Season 11 is going to be recorded up tomorrow, guys, so that means we are just going to jump right into it. We had a little bit of downtime for some of the players, not too much downtime for the stream for you guys. We've tried to keep the content consistent for you, and if you are watching at home, please consider hitting those follows, subscribes, all that kind of good stuff, whether you're watching live on Twitch, which we do broadcast every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We also put the VODs up on YouTube, and that is youtube.com/Modern Magic Mondays. For everybody watching at home, you miss it live, check out the VODs. So please help show your support there. Twitter's down below, at Modern Mondays, at The Real Man, our co-host, not able to join us this week, but that is at Farm of Zurin R. He has been doing stuff over on his channel, so you guys should be able to check that out when you get a chance. I will be doing some of my own broadcasting on my channel as well. Sea of Thieves is going to be picking up with some more stuff. I'm going to be continuing up with some other content on my own YouTube channel. I've been doing some Warcraft 2 campaign, so if you're interested in some of that, doing some more StarCraft coverage. So lots of content coming out. So Twitter is the best place to find out what projects that Brett and I are both working at. But again, that is it tonight, guys. I really appreciate all the support for tuning in and watching the coverage each and every week, and we'll catch you next week with another round of coverage. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you all next game.